I'm talking about how the last 2 years, or nearly 2 years, have affected you philosophically, personally, emotionally, psychologically, familially. The root of our problem, as I have said all of my life, and I am certain of it, I don't believe it, I know it. An atheist could know this. You don't even have to be a believer to know this. The God issue is the issue. So I received a book in the...
How is God an issue? Sin is what you Christians keep preaching and arguing about in rebellion against us. As you worship this God who set Adam and Eve up to give God an excuse to cause our sinful nature, because God is a fucking tyrant who craves obedience. You Christians like to accuse us of rebelling against God, while God isn't even here, as God is the one who gave us all free will, which you are all trying to defy by carrying on about this world being problematic, as it's supposed to be due to our fallen nature. A defiance against our free will to choose to be sinners, which would be blasphemy against God. As I've just said, God isn't here, as he gave us free will in his absence. Meanwhile, you Christians are the ones causing the actual problems and perpetuating the fallenness of this world. What if America had a stable economy and everybody was happy with a good standard of living, with no social or political discrimination? Would that be a fallen world?
mail. You have no idea how many books I receive in the mail. And many of them are wonderful, but obviously I could only feature a tiny fraction. But this one just came in, and I asked the author to come on. In their own words, it's 3 volumes. Today's Godless America, what would our founding fathers think? They research.
Never mind those guys. What about America being mostly Christian in population, as you and this author are both Christians? Explain this godlessness, and how is Christianity the solution to America's problems? How can Christianity be a solution to anything, as the religion says we are broken and fallen, and nothing can change that, while the goal is to get God's forgiveness to be with him forever in heaven? Of course, the problem there is, how can heaven be a paradise if sin is only forgiven and not rectified? Doesn't that mean heaven will also be doomed to become a fallen world? Adam and Eve fucked up. Adam and Eve fucked up, after all.
That made this possible is astounding. Everyone is footnoted. All the founders, what they said about God. My favorite is Benjamin Franklin, because people call him a deist. Benjamin Franklin and I am known as religious, quite rightly, have identical views about life and God. Identical. Just for the record. If he's a deist, I'm a deist.
What is your definition of deism, and what does the Constitution say about religion?
The man who did this is a judge, actually, in Michigan. Mark Boonstra, B-O-O-N-S-T-R-A. He has served since 2012 as a judge at the Michigan Court of Appeals. Judge Boonstra, welcome to the Dennis Prager Show.
Thank you, Dennis. It's an honor to be on your show. Thank you for inviting me.
I got to tell you, I can't tell you how much I admire what you've done. I mean, it's this. First of all, there's no book that's more important. If people give a damn about what this country was founded to be, they need to see your 3 volumes.
You say, if people give a damn about this country, but you don't mention what the problem is.
I will cite from it prodigiously on my radio show. When did you begin this research? When you were 8?
Not quite that long. I'm 64, so it wasn't quite that long, although I think the reasons for writing it probably began when I was about 8, when the effort to transform this nation from what it was founded to be into a secular nation probably began.
And what's the problem with a country being secular? Taking education out in America? Is that what you said? What education is being taken out, and how is it? Journalism and entertainment? What the fuck are you talking about?
America and shaping everything that we came to hear and therefore to believe. But no, I started working on this about 7 years ago, honestly, and I have a full-time job and part-time things, so I did it when I could. And there was a time when I thought I needed to get this out, and this was several years ago, because I thought it was important that people hear this message. But the truth is, it's so much more timely today than it would have been then. I mean, and that's sadly because we've fallen further into the craters that we now need to dig out of. But I was concerned for many years, frustrated and angered even about what has happened to our country and country that we want.
What has happened to America? Well, greed has always been a problem. Christianity has always been a problem. Racism, violence, crime. All the ingredients of a fallen world that Jesus provides forgiveness for. The funny thing about greed, though, is God seems to always need money. Sounds like you're trying to fight a battle against something God has made the world to be, as a result of Adam and Eve, as a means for God to get obedience by having us seek His forgiveness, or else. You Christians are trying to change what God intended, while you blame Democrats and atheists for it all.
Our kids and grandkids that they're going to have to grow up with. And it has strayed so far in so many ways from what our founders intended us to be. That as over.
Are the founding fathers all gods? Did they create us? Or did the God of the Bible? What does it matter what the founding fathers intended Americans to be?
For those 7 years that the thoughts crystallized in my mind, or before that even, I concluded that there was one really fundamental, underlying, overriding reason for all of that, and that is that we've lost God. And God was so central.
How did anybody lose God? Moving away from the context of America being fucked up due to godlessness to do my thing, why do you want God and want America to have God? What good is God?
To the founding of this country, it was the reason our founders came here was freedom of religion, to be able to exercise their religion the way they wanted to. And we've lost all of it. We've banished God from so many areas of our society, in particular this.
You mentioned freedom of religion, but you've written a book that defies free will as you try to push Americans toward God. How has God been banished? Why does that bother you, even if that's true?
The schools. And so our kids are not learning really who our fathers were. And what I wanted to do is to, not so much to persuade people of my own views, but
That's right. Just provide that. That's what you've done here. It's awesome. It's truly awesome. The second I got it, I sent you an email. I wanted to help you, ladies and gentlemen. This is a gift to yourself or to anybody on your Christmas list. In their own words, it's all footnoted. What all the founders had to say about the centrality of God. Judge Riggett.
Wasn't it the founding fathers who killed off all of the natives and stole the land that is now known as America? What does the Bible say about murder and theft?